Welcome back to the Coliseum in Lexington. Big Blue Madness, where obviously they have dimmed the lights here for just a moment. Tubby Smith with a roster of 15, a talented roster. Let's check in with Dick Gabriel, who has more.
It was tough for Tubby Smith to say goodbye to his 5 seniors. They were part of that amazing undefeated run through the conference 3 years ago. Last season, they won the SEC tournament and were seeded #1 in the NCAA tourney.
That's about 20 years of experience or more. It's just hard to replace because they understood every, our drills, the energy level they had to practice with and had to play at. And trying to get our young players to appreciate that is going to be the job of our veteran returning players.
But there are enough returning veterans like Chuck Hayes, Josh Carrier, Robbie Moss, Brandon Stockton to teach the newbies.
They understand what it takes to play at this level. And it's contagious. That energy, that effort is contagious. So long as they come with that same energy and same effort, we can overcome any lack of every experience that we have.
The freshman will bring new energy to the squad, and Tubby says he is re-energized himself.
Sometimes when you have veteran and older players, you kind of in that mode of expect them to understand, and you can take things for granted. With this group, it's always in a teaching mode because they're always in a learning mode because they don't know anything about our system except what they saw on TV. So helping them, that's the energy part that I know I'm going to have, and our staff is going to be. And these guys are very conscious of wanting to know. They want to learn more. They're eager to please. So that's why I'm very anxious and very excited about this group.
That report from Dick Gabriel. He joins us courtside here at the Coliseum, and he will be along with more in just a moment as we continue with Big Blue Madness here in Lexington. We've got Big Blue Madness here tonight, but it will be football tomorrow night, Commonwealth Stadium, as the South Carolina Gamecocks and Lou Holtz come into town. We'll have it all right here for you on the UK network. Check your local listings as Kentucky takes on South Carolina. Well, the lights remain dimmed here, Martin Newton, but as we take a look at Kentucky, 27-5 last season and 13-3 in the SEC East. The Wildcats won the East. They did not win the overall title, but over the last 2 years, Kentucky, the winningest team in the country with 59 total wins, and the only school to be a #1 seed going into the NCAA over the last 2 years.
And the one thing that Tubby Smith will talk about and the hunger that he has is a Final Four. And I know the fans talk about it, but nobody wants it more than Tubby Smith. Now, granted, what they've done is remarkable over the last 2 years and really what he's done over his career. But you're right, Rob, until they get to that Final Four, that pinnacle, all that other stuff doesn't matter for him. He is so hungry and, as he said earlier, energized to take this team back to St. Louis.
Yeah, you can bet he's every bit as hungry as any fan is, I think we could say, without a doubt.
No question.
What they're showing here on the video screens right now are some vignettes that have been done with not just the players from Tubby's team, but also the players from Mickey DeMoss's team. And her team will be introduced here tonight just a little bit before midnight. But we are counting down the minutes right now until the Wildcats hit the court at the stroke of midnight. Let's check in with Dick Gabriel now, who has the seniors with him. Dick?
Thanks, guys. Here with the 2 Kentucky seniors, Josh Carrier and Chuck Hayes. And Josh, it seems like just yesterday you were getting here. Where's all the time going?
It's flown by. It's gone by too quick. It seems like yesterday I walked in the door and we started practice, and now it's my last year and it's almost over.
And I know you want to make this last year special. What do you think this team can accomplish?
The sky's the limit, and I say that every year just because, we have new guys coming in and we have, older guys that will lead by example and show the way. And I think Chuck and myself will work hard and show the young guys how to work, and hopefully we'll have a big year.
How important is that to you to bring these young guys along and sort of leave them as your legacy?
I take that to heart. I want to leave behind a good legacy, and I want to, show the young guys the right way and, the only way, and that's winning.
Have fun tonight. Chuck Hayes, of course, is in his 4th year as well, and it seems like you were just getting here, and now you got a chance to close out your career with a special season.
Yeah, I do. To mimic what Josh said, it went by too fast. I remember we both came in here wet behind the ears. Now we're old hags, I guess. So,
you said you want to really put this team on your back. I mean, it's a team thing, but you want to set the pace for this team, set the tone, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Right from the jump, I want to let the younger guys know what to expect and how we're going to run things around here. And every year at the end of the year, I've always told myself I have next season. Well, this time I don't.
What is the tone, though? How are you going to what are you going to tell them that they need to do? What's the message?
It's concentration and focus throughout the whole year. You know, we can't have no letdown practices. We can't have no letdown games.
You lost a lot of teammates last year, a lot of seniors, a lot of new faces, but can you guys accomplish all your goals this year with such a young team?
Yeah, I think we can. We have a great group of guys coming back and a powerful group of guys coming in. And if we mesh that together and get that chemistry, we'll be good.
All right, thanks, guys. The two seniors, Josh Carrier and Chuck Hayes, back to you.
Dick, thank you. As the lights now are back on here in the Coliseum, and gosh, Martin, you talk about Chuck Hayes. He has started 76 consecutive games. That is just 34 games shy of Alex Gross's school record. So, with a good postseason, he can break or tie it.
You think Chuck wants to get to St. Louis? Not even to heck with the record. He's just, you know what? He's a remarkable young man, and it's interesting to watch he and Josh in those interviews with Dick. I remember him as freshmen coming in here, and they were a little scared, a little nervous, and the maturity that you've seen under Tubby Smith's tutelage has just been incredible. But both of those young men, regardless of what their future holds in basketball, they're going to have great careers.
Boy, as we heard there, does it ever go by quick? It goes by before you know it.
Isn't that the truth?
And speaking of Josh Carrier, you know, he played in 25 games, I believe, last season. Still hopeful of raising that three-point percentage, and maybe this will be the year that will really come around for him.
You know, he looked so comfortable this summer in their workouts, and I watched him from a leadership standpoint. I think this is just what he needs. He's kind of stepped into that role, and it's easier to be a leader on the court than it is off the court. And I think Josh understands that. I think he's accepted that role, and I think you're going to see good things from him this year.
All right, we've heard from the seniors. We will hear from the newcomers coming up in just a moment. Stay with us. A lot more to come your way from Memorial Coliseum at Big Blue Madness. We welcome you back to Lexington Memorial Coliseum, Big Blue Madness. Rob Bromley courtside alongside Martin Newton. Dick Gabriel is with us, and no question about it, Martin, Tubby Smith loses a lot of experience. When you talk about guys like, you know, the scoring of Gerald Fitch, the defense of Cliff Hawkins, the shot-making wizardry of Eric Daniels, the athleticism of Antoine Barber. Matt Heisenbuttle has departed. Bernard Cote is now at Northwestern.
You know, it's an interesting group that they had because there were no stars in that group. However, they knew how to win and they knew how to play together. But I think Tubby feels like he needs that superstar like a Carmelo Anthony to take him to the next level, to take him to St. Louis, and I think he's got that in this group. You know, it's amazing when you talk about those guys, what those guys were able to accomplish in their career with each having limitations in their game.
Right, no question about it. Now, they will be missed, but there are new arrivals on the scene, and let's check in with them right now as Dick Gabriel has them cornered. Or Chuck Hayes, I beg your pardon, is going to be doing the interviews here tonight. A broadcasting major is Chuck Hayes, the senior, and he will introduce the newcomers to it. Chuck?
Hi, Chuck Hayes here reporting live in Memorial Coliseum for the Big Blue Madness. I'm here with the #1 recruiting class in the country, and here to my left we have Randolph Morris. Morris, can you stand up for us, please? Now, coming to high school, you know, you was a top prospect. A lot of people wanted you. You was considered making a jump to the professional level. Why Kentucky?
Well, I basically chose Kentucky because of the unparalleled tradition. Basically for tonight, mainly Big Blue Madness. That's the reason I came.
Thank you. Next we have here swing guard from Detroit, Joe Crawford. Joe, you came here last year for Midnight Madness, and now you're participating. What are your expectations for this year?
Oh, last year when I went to Midnight Madness, it was a great experience, full of energy, and I liked the energy. That's why I chose Kentucky.
Thank you, Joe. Here we have a walk-on, Eric Allen from, where are you from here? Alabama?
Alabama, yeah.
Decatur, Alabama. Okay, you're a walk-on here. You're kind of underneath the radar here with these, the other guys getting all the hype and stuff. So coming into this program, what is your mindset?
Just to work hard, try to get on the floor, just keep my head on straight. That's about it.
Thank you. Next, we have a Kentucky native, Rajon Rondo. Rajon, you going from a top high school program to one of the top college programs. Was that one of the things you wanted, was to play Division I basketball at the top-notch program?
Yeah, I think all my life growing up, you want to play for Kentucky basketball, so this was a good choice for me.
All right, thank you, Rajon. Last, we have a Brooklyn native from New York City, Ramel Bradley. Ramel, yourself and Eric are kind of underneath the radar in this recruiting class, and you're pretty deep at the guard position. So in practices, what are you trying to do so you can get Coach Smith's eye?
Well, I'm a tough guy, so I'm just gonna try to go out there and play hard and just show my level of energy and just kind of bring my city to Tubby Smith and show them how tough we are. That's about it.
All right, thank you, Ramel. All right, like I said, I'm here reporting here with the #1 recruiting class at University of Kentucky. Thank you. Back to you guys.
Oh, Chuck, thank you so much. I think you did a good job with that.
You better watch out. Your job's in jeopardy, my man.
And we meet the walk-on, Eric Allen, out of Alabama, and on the pronunciation there, it is Rajon.
Rajon Rondo, which he is going to be fun to watch, Rob. This young man is excited. They all are. And they got a little bit of confidence, don't they?
Well, the excitement continues to build here at the Coliseum. Stay with us. We will hear from the head man himself, Tubby Smith, in just a moment as we continue along with Big Blue Madness at the Coliseum. Welcome back, and in this upcoming 2004-2005 season, we've got a lot to look forward to on the UK Network right now. UK women's head coach Mickey DeMoss being introduced here. Her team has just come out on the court. Of course, Mickey heading into her second season as the women's head coach here at Kentucky, and big things certainly expected. But Martin Newton here on the UK Network, we will be televising the first 6 Wildcat games, including the exhibitions, and 9 of the first 12.
This is one of those schedules. You see the 2 exhibitions have changed based on some NCAA rules. Play Division II schools now, but this will be a good schedule for Tubby's team because he's got a chance to let these young kids mature. I kind of like what's going on here, and personally, I think it's going to be a fun schedule for the fans to watch as well.
Going to see Mike Sutton's Tennessee Tech team come in. Of course, Kyle Macy's Moorhead State team. William and Mary and Campbell, but we're going to be happy to be televising 9 of the first 12 games that the Wildcats play right here over most of these same stations. You will see some live, you will see some on a delayed basis.
They'll still have their tough perennial games with Indiana. They got Kansas coming in here, so the schedule's a tough one, but I like what Tubby's done with the schedule.
All right, let's check in with Dick Gabriel now, who has the head man, Tubby Smith, back just outside the locker room. Dick?
Thanks very much. Another Midnight Madness, Big Blue Madness as a word. You get a kick out of these still?
Yeah, well, it's one of those that it's kind of like, I guess, having your flu shot. You got to have it. You want to hurry up and get it over with, so you might as well get on. But I think
it's good for you, though.
It's healthy for our players. It gives them an idea of what it's going to be like, the atmosphere in college basketball, the media coverage. And it's a good time for the fans to put a face with a name. They've seen guys just haven't been recruited. They read about them on the internet. They read about them in these scouting services, especially for the young guys. And then to see, a lot of guys a lot of fans will look at this as a chance to measure how much a guy's improved. But I warn them that tonight they won't see much of that.
Your eyes can deceive you at this?
Yes, absolutely. It can be very deceiving, and so just be very careful about how you evaluate our players tonight.
Now, you've said before,
because I've been there where a guy knocked down a bunch of shots,
right,
and did a lot of things, or didn't do much, and then played well for us the rest of the year.
You're excited about teaching these young guys, aren't you?
Yes, I think we've got a chance to, and that's what it's about in coaching, is an eager group of people, especially young players that are eager to learn. I think we have that in this freshman group. They're a really talented group, but they also are very hungry and they're very focused group. So I think having those ingredients and those characteristics mean that they can be a very good players and very good team.
And a veteran like Chuck Hayes leading this group's got to make you feel good.
Well, I hope so. No, Chuck is no. You couldn't ask for better leaders than Chuck and Josh, Patrick, Ravi, right on down, all of our guys, and we expect them all to be leaders, but especially Chuck. He's got a major and a big responsibility, but he's proven that he's capable of handling it.
Have fun tonight.
Thank you.
All right. Back to you guys.
Dick, thank you. Coming up, the Wildcats take the court for their first workout. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, the midnight hour is rapidly approaching here, and a video being shown to this packed house here at Memorial Coliseum in Lexington as they anticipate the Wildcats' arrival on the Memorial Coliseum floor here in just a moment. As a matter of fact, Martin, I think we're down inside here the last minute right now. Unparalleled success of the Kentucky Wildcats, winning his program in college basketball history. When it comes to the NCAA, 7 NCAA championships, 3 NCAA runner-ups, 13 Final Four appearances, and 27 appearances in the Elite Eight. So many great memories down through the years, and they have dimmed the lights here at the Coliseum as the fans here await the arrival of this latest edition of the Wildcats, the 2004-2005 edition that'll be coached by Tubby Smith.
It's been interesting to watch this video, Rob. They've done a nice job of bringing back a lot of the old, kind of representing the past, but respecting the past, but representing the future as well. It's really been neat.
Well, it's an amazing tradition, begun by Adolph Rupp. The championships that the Baron won, the first NCAA title back in 1948. His last championship in 1958, but others have been at it after that. 1978, Joe B. Hall. And of course, in 1996, Rick Pitino, and in 1998, Tubby Smith, adding an NCAA title. Who would ever forget 78? And of course, 96 with the likes of Cameron Mills. And the thing about it, Martin, the fans have always been there. They are just absolutely incredible, and they are really, when you think about it, they are the ones who make this program what it is.
You know, there's no question, and we say it every year, and every year I'm more amazed at what I see with the Kentucky Wildcats fans. The best in the country, there's no doubt about it.
So many great players who have made contributions over the years, and there will be those who will make contributions in the future and will write their names down into the record books here in this upcoming season. I don't think there's any question about that.
This is Kentucky basketball.
Right now, let's join Larry Conley, Sam Bowie, and the lovely Ashley Judd as we count down to the Wildcats' appearance here at the Coliseum.
Let's go to the countdown.
Austin High School, Decatur, Alabama. Ramel Smooth Bradley, number 3. IMG Academy, Brooklyn, New York City.
Joe Crawford, number 32. Renaissance High School, Detroit, Michigan.
Randolph Morris, number 33. Landmark Christian, Atlanta, Georgia.
Rajon Rondo, number 4. The Oak Hill Academy, Louisville, Kentucky.
Shagari Aline, number 21. Rice High School, Bronx, New York. Stand up.
Łukasz Obrzut, number 10. Szkoła Mistrzostwa Sportowego Polskiego Związku Koszykówki w Warce, Gliwice, Poland.
Bobby Perry, number 13. Hillside High School, Tobacco Road, Durham, North Carolina.
Sheree Thomas, number 23. LaSalle Catholic and Riverdale Baptist, Montreal, Canada.
Clint Asbuki, number 24. Victor Christian, Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Preston Lemaster, number 12. Bourbon County High School, Paris, Kentucky.
Robbie Moss, number 2. University Heights Academy, Hopkinsville, Kentucky.
Patrick Sparks, 22. Muhlenberg North, Central City, Kentucky.
Brandon Stockton, number 1. Glasgow High School, Glasgow, Kentucky.
Josh Carrier, number 5. Bowling Green High School, Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Chuck Hayes, number 44. Modesto Christian High School, Modesto, California.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's meet your team. Eric Allen, Ramel Bradley, Joe Crawford, Randolph Morris, Rajon Rondo, Shagari Aline, Łukasz Obrzut, Bobby Perry, Sheree Thomas, Coletta Azabuki, Preston Lemaster, Robbie Moss, Patrick Sparks, Brandon Stockton, Josh Carrier, and Chuck Hayes. The Wildcats are assisted by student managers Jonathan Morris, Steve Goodson, Jeremiah Cox, DJ Geddes, Zach Murphy, Gibbs Turner, and Sean Trusty. Special assistants Cameron Hilliard and Chris Briggs. Athletic trainer Dave Kendi and Dr. Scott Mayer and Jim Jagger. And we can't forget equipment manager Bill Kitely. Assistant coaches Reggie Henson, Scott Rizzo, head coach, assistant head coach David Hobbs, and of course the head coach Orlando Tubby Smith.
Well, there you have it, the introduction of this 2004-2005 edition of the Wildcats, and the loudest ovations, Martin, for, as you might expect, for Glenn Azabuki, for Chuck Hayes, and the biggest one for the head coach.
I love the Tubby chants. There's nothing like it in college basketball. What do you think Tubby just said to him right there?
Well, I don't know, but he came out, and you could tell he was feeling pretty good.
I think he told him, he said, guys, enjoy this, because tomorrow it's a whole different atmosphere. You better suck it up and enjoy this while you can.
It gets kind of late tonight, and tomorrow comes around pretty early, doesn't it?
Oh, the real show. These freshmen right now, it's like he said, they've got big eyes right now, and this is all fun and games, but they will really get after it tomorrow.
All right, now the Cats getting loose on the court. We will be back with more of the activities here, and we've still got a ways to go. The Coliseum in Lexington, it's Big Blue Madness.
Tonight's Big Blue Madness is being presented by Harley-Davidson. Big Blue Madness is also being brought to you by Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance. Big on commitment. By Papa John's Pizza. Better ingredients, better pizza. By your local Ford dealer. Quality people, quality products. By Pepsi. And by the Whitaker Bank Corporation. Discover the Whitaker difference.
your Central Kentucky Jeep dealers. Lexington Mortgage Company, financing your dream home. GMC Trucks. B-Dry, America's leading waterproofer. Your Central Kentucky Chrysler dealers. Golden Corral, everyone deserves a good meal.
Welcome back to Memorial Coliseum. Rob Bromley alongside Martin Newton. Dick Gabriel is here with us tonight as the Cats are loosening up on the court. As you look at Joe Crawford, the young man out of Renaissance High School in Detroit, one of the 3 McDonald's All-Americans that Tubby Smith has brought in.
I'm going to tell you something. This young man knows how to play the game of basketball. He comes in with the reputation of being a good shooter. But as we're watching him this summer and watching him take the ball to the basket and finish around the hole, not only that, but compete with Kalina Azubuike, they had absolute wars this summer. Very competitive young man. You're going to see great things out of number 32, Joe Crawford.
You've gotten to know him pretty well, haven't you, Mark?
He's really a good young man. It's interesting. He's, I got to know him a little bit through his coaches in Detroit, but also just lately as he's been here, he's one of these guys that's a gym rat. And every time I'm here, he's in the gym. So really a good young man, though.
Well, that's a good thing to be, as you see Shagari Lane coming in and dunking it. The tallest player in Wildcat history at 7'3" is back for his sophomore season, as is Łukasz Orbzut, and it will be interesting to see just how much these 2 big fellas who came in last year develop and show what they can do in this coming season.
Well, they really need him to contribute. Now, Randolph Morris is going to help. He's a young freshman out of Atlanta, but those 2 guys have got to step up their game a little bit. I think you're going to see a whole different player in Wu this year. He's adjusted to the speed of the American game, learned to play with his back to the basket a little bit better. He's more comfortable stepping out on the floor now, shooting those 12, 15-foot jump shots. I think he's going to be a surprise to the Kentucky fans.
Well, you mentioned Randolph Morris, who comes in out of Landmark Christian in Atlanta, Georgia. Now, here's a fella who is listed at 6'10", although some people say he's 6'11", others say, he's a 7-footer. But here's a guy who was considering at one time going into the pros, decided to go to college and come to Kentucky.
He comes from a very strong family. In fact, his brother is actually going to be a manager here on the Kentucky team. And he's one of these young men that I think he knew he wasn't quite ready, not only physically but maturity-wise as well, to go to the league. I think he consulted his family, made the right decision to come here. Some people say he's one and done. I say he's here a couple years, maybe more. And if he is, I think he'll win a national championship before he leaves here. He's a very, very good presence in college basketball for Middleman.
As Chuck Hayes goes in underneath there and lays it in, let's talk about a fellow that we haven't said too much about up to this point. That's the guy who will wear number 22. And he was here last season after transferring from Western, had to sit out. Now, I know that wasn't easy on Patrick Sparks. Now he gets his chance wearing the blue and white.
I tell you something, Kentucky fans remember him from the 2000-2001 season when he came into Rupp Arena and handed Kentucky a home opening loss and just absolutely dominated that game. He was the leading scorer in the state of Kentucky as a senior in high school at Muhlenberg North. But he's one of these young guys that just knows how to play. A coach's son, does it all. Last year in practice, he gave Cliff Hawkins everything he wanted and made him a better player because he's so competitive. But he's one of those guys you just like playing with him because he gets you the ball in the right places. He can stroke the shot if he needs to, but he's very unselfish, and really I think it's going to be hard to keep off the court this year.
And he's been in practice for a season, Martin. He knows the system.
Understands the system. That's a great point. Really understands the system. He does all the little intangibles. The freshmen are getting the hype, but this may be the freshman of the year or the newcomer of the year in the Southeastern Conference.
Łukasz Orbzut, who likes to play out on the floor, but what he's trying to do is learn to play in close to the basket.
Dave Hobbs was telling me in individual instructions with Wu what they're trying to get him to do is once he steps out and sets those screens to not always roll to the basket, but actually go baseline, pull up for that 12, 15-foot jump shot because he really does have a nice tuck. And what that does is it brings the opposing guy's big man off on the court. So I think Wu, if he'll just relax a little bit and have some fun, this could be a stellar year for him.
What about another one of the McDonald's All-Americans, Rajon Rondo, as we get the pronunciation right here, out of Louisville? and is another player who comes to Kentucky by way of Oak Hill.
He is a highlight reel is what he is. He's one of those guys that everything he does is spectacular. I haven't seen anybody handle the basketball as well or pass as well as he, maybe since Pete Maravich, and that's going back a long way. Now, I'm not saying he's the type of scorer that Pete Maravich was, but he can really handle the basketball. I tell you what, he had a dunk this summer in a pickup game. The ball's thrown up. They've played about 5 games. Everybody's tired. The ball's thrown up. Chuck Hayes kind of goes up and ducks because he thinks it's going out of bounds. The next thing you know, Rajon comes from nowhere, grabs it and slams it. It was so good they just quit. They all ran off the floor and quit playing the pickup game. Phenomenal athlete. In fact, Tubby told me, said he ought to be a track star. He says, man, have you ever thought about running track?
I would say by the reaction of the crowd here and the clapping that we're getting set here to begin a dunking contest.
Well, I got a question with the judges. Now, I understand Kenny Skywalker because he could dunk, but I'm looking at Richie Farmer and J.P. Blevins, and I guarantee you neither one of those guys dunk.
Here goes Chuck Hayes. Couldn't quite get it. And we've got a group of Wildcat greats who are doing the judging here. Mickey DeMoss has joined them. Kenny Walker, Richie Farmer, J.P. Blevins, and the Kentucky legend Ralph Beard are right here at courtside.
I tell you, Ralph Beard may not have been able to dunk, but he could do everything else on the court.
Chuck Hayes with his second attempt.
We've got a 7 and 4 nines coming up there. 7 and 4 nines. Looks
Boy,
like
Ralph Beard's tough. He gives him a 7 over there.
He ate at a banquet, so I can see he's a little heavy right now. We need 2 dinners like that, Chuck. You look good, Chuck.
All right, up next we have one each. Robbie Moss.
Here's Robbie Moss. Boy, did he ever come on and make a contribution last season.
You know, I just remember the Georgia game where I just remember the Georgia game, though, where he came on and really
attempt number 2
made a difference in not only that ball game but several others, but his intensity and his work ethic.
See if he can beat a 43.
Were paid dividends because Tubby was going to allow him to play in the games.
Robbie asking the crowd to cheer him on, and that they do. There it is.
Got, see, 2 10s, 3 10s, and 2 9s.
Did you make that dunk?
3 10s and 2 9s, say the judges here at
Robbie
courtside.
ate 2 dinners tonight, too.
First game Robbie really
Moss
chipped in was that North Carolina game in Rupp Arena where he went 2 for 2 from the floor, had 3 rebounds.
Joe Crawford.
One of the freshmen, Joe Crawford.
That's got them on their feet in Memorial Coliseum.
I believe that's a 50.
Uh-oh, they're all going to sit down now. Rajon's going to sit down. Chuck's waving goodbye.
No, that's pretty good. That's pretty good for a guy who lost to a girl back at the McDonald's All-American game. That's pretty good. He's been working on that all summer long since he lost out in Oklahoma last year.
I just want to introduce myself. I don't take a lot of special privileges, but my name's Ashley. I'm very glad to know you, and I'm very glad you're coming to school here. I don't cut line at movies. I don't ask for stuff for free, but you know, this is something I will exploit to the max. Nice dunk.
I'll bet you $20 Joe Crawford doesn't have a clue who Ashley Judd is.
This is Ramel Bradley now.
All right, up next is going to be Rajon Rondo.
Yeah, I beg your pardon. Ramel Bradley's down underneath the basket, and Rajon Rondo.
All
right, now see, this is what we talked about, the highlight part of him. Now, what this young guy doesn't understand, he starts practice tomorrow. Yeah, we don't need any injuries, jumping over chairs or any of that kind of stuff. Tubby's standing over there right now. He's crossing. He's got his fingers crossed and everything else.
Done this before? What?
But this kid likes the spectacular. Hello.
We're all putting up 10 on that one.
Oh, the freshman.
Take another look at that.
Now you know why Tubby Smith's so excited about this class. Holy cow.
He had Ramel Bradley bounce it off the floor for him, and it was Rajon Rondo.
Strategizing right now.
Let's go.
I tell you what, I'm not sure I'd want to follow those two. Now here's the thing. You got Wu following him.
Let's go. Everybody gets a go. Let's go. Brandon, you're next. Kalina, who's up? Bobby, let's go, man.
Wuka Shorbshoot.
8s and 9s.
Now see, look at Wu though. He's developing a personality. We wouldn't have seen that from him last year, but all of a sudden he's starting to have fun with the game of basketball. I'm telling you, he's going to have a nice year this year.
Wow.
Hey, now here comes Kalina Azubuike.
You see, Kalina's smart. Doesn't say a whole lot, but Kalina knew I'm not following those two guys. So he goes to Wu and makes Wu go out and follow him. Now he comes up and he's going to clean up. Now I'm telling you, if I'm Tubby right now, I tell you, we're not jumping over anybody. I got to have you. You're my key for this season. He's got Zoe, one of the managers, that he's going to jump over.
Assisting Azubuike will be Steve Goodson.
Steve's going, man, my scholarship may not be worth this much.
Get out of the way. Take the charge, will you?
I think the judges are pretty kind to him.
Let's go. We get one more chance.
2 9s and 3 8s.
Would you like to go for attempt number 2?
Second attempt now for Kalina Azubuike, the 6'5" junior who went to Victory Christian in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
All right, Chuck, let the man.
Now here's leadership right here. Now see, here's the senior leader. We'll go out and talk to him a little bit, tell him what he wants him to do.
Little advice.
You know, I think if he just do that dunk that he attempted in was it the Florida game in the Southeastern Conference Tournament when he went baseline and all of a sudden he goes over everybody?
Azubuike.
Not bad. I got to go with the freshman, though.
Close.
Well, they've done the highlights so far.
Dick Gabriel's going, which one? He's right.
Rajon Rondo and Joe Crawford. Well, the crowd here in the Coliseum is enjoying it. Let's break away for just a moment. Stay right where you are. We've got a lot more Big Blue Madness coming up. We welcome you back to the Coliseum, and the winning dunk. Rajon Rondo going high as Ramel Bradley set it up for him, and did he ever slam it through?
There's a little bit of a trust factor with those two as well. If I'm Ramel, I'm going, are you kidding me? I'm not sitting down so you can jump over me. But I don't know how you pick a winner, because I got to tell you.
Joe Crawford was a close second.
Joe Crawford was big time too.
Well, as you look at Tubby Smith, you wonder what's going through his mind. And the first exhibition game, Martin, is 19 days off, I guess. What would you guess as far as a lineup for this team?
You know, I think Patrick Sparks is going to start at the 1. I just think his experience and knowing the system, and I think he'll probably start at the 1. I can see Joe Crawford probably starting at the 2. I think he's one of the more physically mature freshmen. I think you'll see Kalina coming out at the 3. Chuck will go to the 4, and probably Randolph Morris at the 5. Or if he chooses, if Randolph's coming along a little bit slow, he may go with Wu at the 5. But he's got a lot of options because, you know, with Rajon, you can put him at the 1. Patrick shoots it well enough that you can put him at the 2. There's just a lot of different options that he's got on this basketball team.
Well, he's got a roster of 15, and you know, a couple of guys that we haven't even talked about yet. You know, Bobby Perry and Sheree Thomas. And I should mention that while Sheree Thomas is not on the court, He is over on the bench tonight in a sweatsuit, and he spent the summer with the Canadian Young Men's National Team and has had a medical problem, has undergone some surgery. He'll be out about another month. But then you've also got Bobby Perry, who simply got better and better as last season went on.
You know, he's one of those guys that he does nothing great, but he does everything good. And I think Bobby's going to, based on what he does in practice, will warrant playing time. I'm so glad to see Sheree out of the hospital. And I know all Wildcat fans were holding their breath there for a while. And I'm going to tell you something. If he doesn't have this surgery, he's probably going to start at the 5.
All right, well, some of our stations along the line have to break away at this time, and we certainly hope that you enjoyed it here tonight at Memorial Coliseum. We're getting set now for a scrimmage, which usually concludes the festivities here at Big Blue Madness, and it will be the blue against the white. Shagari Elaine is going to jump it up here against Wukash Orbzut. And we'll see how this team looks.
I'm going to tell you who else we hadn't talked about, and we'll see him in a little while, is Ramel Bradley. And the other freshmen, because of their McDonald's All-American status, are getting the hype. But this kid is a phenomenal athlete.
Chuck Hayes missing, and the rebound pulled down by Brandon Stockton, who has a number change this year. He wore 3 last year. He's now got his high school number 1. And you see Wukash Orbzut trying to maneuver inside. Orbzut is playing along with Bobby Perry, Kalena Azubuike, Ravi Moss. The shot from outside is put right through the hoop by Kalena Azubuike. And for the blue team, we've got Preston Lamaster, Chuck Hayes, who swings it here to Patrick Sparks, who fires from outside. Elaine going for the rebound, couldn't get it. Pulled down by Lamaster. Carrier connecting from three-point range.
It's good to see Josh step out and shoot that ball. You know, he's going to be counted on this year to come in spot minutes and really knock down some threes.
Bobby Perry. Nothing but the bottom of the net. That was a 2-pointer, and the White has a 5-3 lead here.
It's got the potential to be one of Tubby Smith's best shooting basketball teams.
Shigari. Well, definitely more confident as he took that one in the lane and put up a little turnaround jumper.
I don't see how the guy shoots down at the basket. I mean, it's amazing to me.
Good strong rebound by Chuck Hayes.
Yeah, but see, that's where Wu's got to get tougher. He's got to pull that rebound right there.
Lamaster couldn't get it, and Orbzut pulls down the rebound and gets it ahead here to Kalena Azubuike. Right down the lane and missed it off the board. Here's the blue team now running the opposite way.
Little mismatch problem right here.
He's dishing it out of the corner. That's Lamaster, who couldn't connect, and Shigari pulls down the rebound, and the blue team still has it. Patrick Sparks, a little out of control.
You know, and that's unusual for Patrick. It's interesting to watch him in the pickup games this summer because his team never lost. I mean, now part of that is because he knows how to pick the right team. It seems like he and Chuck were always on the same team, but they never lost, and he's just one of those kids that knows how to win.
Rims the basket for Patrick Sparks, and here's Brandon Stockton coming the other way, who might find it tough getting some playing time this year. Missing is Bobby Perry from the side, and quickly up ahead it goes to Carrier. Patrick Sparks with a layup off the break.
I look for Kalena to have just a breakout year this year. He has got all the tools. He's done everything Tubby's asked him to do. Tubby asked him to become a better defender. He was a better defender.
Ravi Moss from long range, who made big contributions last season in games against North Carolina, the game in Knoxville against Tennessee, the game at Georgia, as you pointed out, Martin, and he had a couple of three-pointers, I believe, in the UAB game, the last game of the season up in Columbus.
He sure did. His confidence level has just gone through the ceiling, and that's all an indication of how hard he's worked.
Here's Brandon Stockton. Three-pointer.
Got some shooters on this basketball team.
They're showing it right now. And what is it now? A 13-5 White lead. And Preston Lemaster answers back at the other end.
Although I think with that defense, you and Dick and I could probably knock down those threes because there's nobody guarding anybody right now.
Going to get some lineup changes here in just a moment as we see Randolph Morris get off the bench along with Ramel Bradley. The shot won't go for Orbzit. And for the white squad, we're going to see Joe Crawford check in here in just a moment. And Rajon Rondo will also come in as Sparks gets it to Shagari, and he puts it in from short range.
But you see what we're talking about with Patrick? He gets you the ball where you have the ability to score. Very seldom does he put you in a position, a bad position, when he throws you the ball. He's going to put you in a position to score.
Talk about a mismatch. And there's Orbzit all alone for the slam.
Really adjusted to the speed of the American game.
And we had a timeout called by the blue team, and we'll get the subs in right now as we'll get our first look here at Randolph Morris and Ramel Bradley. They check in. Randolph Morris, number 33 out of Landmark Christian down in Atlanta. Goes 6'10", solid touch around the basket. Can shoot it though from probably the 10 to 12 foot range.
How about his numbers in high school? 23 points, 16 rebounds a game.
And 8 blocks. Yeah. That was as a senior.
I know. I want you to watch Joe Crawford. Just watch the intensity that he plays with. Now, nobody else has been playing with that kind of intensity. Watch how hard he plays. It doesn't matter what type of game he's playing in. This kid competes every time he walks in the gym.
Rajon Rondo went in there for the steal and was called for the foul.
And that's where Rajon's got to get better. He's got to get better on the defensive end of the floor.
Nice drive by Chuck.
He's got the offensive skills, but once he puts the defense together, the sky's the limit for him.
Azubuike on the drive. Bobby Perry hits the deck and is called for traveling. So the white team that has a 15-12 lead in this Big Blue Madness scrimmage gives up the basketball here, and this is Ramel Bradley. Takes the pass right back. What a pass there to Randolph Morris.
Telling you, nobody's talked about Ramel. Nobody said anything about him in the pickup games, and what you just saw right there, this young man can play.
Here's Azubuike rimming the bucket.
And here's where he's at his best, in the full court.
Yeah, he's got some speed. Here's Hayes wide open. Couldn't get it. That's something that Chuck would like to do, is be more consistent with that outside shot.
You know, I watched him at the Nike All-American camp this summer, and he played against probably the best college players in the game, and he really did an unbelievable job. The pro scouts talked about it and said, you know, he doesn't have great speed. He's not a great jumper, but every time you watch his team play, they win. Every time somebody's got to have an important rebound, he gets it. Every time there's a key pass, he makes it. He just does what you've got to do to win basketball games, and I think he's really improved his stock for the NBA draft as well.
Here's Rajon Rondo now to bring it up. A cutting Azubuike, couldn't get it on the lob, got the rebound and put it in.
What about the pass by Rajon, though? I mean, just got great vision.
Ramel Bradley brings it up. He's 6'1", freshman out of New York City, went to the Pendleton School down in Florida, IMG Academy. Shot wouldn't go. Bobby Perry with a rebound. Joe Crawford against Sparks. Orbzit. And I think Chuck Hayes got him from behind.
But that was a good, did you see what Big Woo did that time? Instead of setting the screen and rolling back to the basket, he set the screen and stepped off baseline. Dave Hobbs has been working with him to get him to do that because, like I said, he can shoot that 15-footer, but it also brings the other team's big man out on the court, opens up the lanes.
Woo played in 31 games last season, did not play in the final game of the season against UAB. Yeah, another year of maturity and growth. Got to learn to play, Martin, without fouling.
Absolutely, and a lot of that had to do with the speed of the game. He was not used to the speed and the quickness of the athletes in Division I basketball. Played with his hands a lot.
Ramel Bradley now to trigger it in. Speak a little bit more about Ramel. At the Pendleton School, he averaged 25 points, 4 boards, and 4 assists as Chuck Hayes gets the slam.
Well, and there's Patrick Sparks. That's vintage Patrick Sparks, making other people better.
Rebound pulled down by Hayes, and he clears it out here to Sparks at midcourt. Hayes retrieves the ball down in the corner, goes baseline here. Oh, nice dish from Morris to Hayes underneath, and the foul on Orbzut.
Unselfishness, that's what you're going to see with all these newcomers. They all have complete games.
Well, as we mentioned early on in our telecast tonight, this man has started 76 straight games and is not far, 34 games from the all-time record at UK held by Alex Groza. Chuck was third-team All-SEC last season, finished third in the SEC in rebounds, third in block shots. As Rajon Rondo misses underneath, and we will have a chance here to break away for just a moment. Stay with us. There's more to come your way from the Coliseum in Lexington. Stay with us for more madness. Here in Lexington, this scrimmage that we've been watching will resume in just a few moments as the lights are now brought back up. And let's check in with Dick Gabriel because I believe he has Ashley Judd with him. Dick?
That's right, Rob. If Donna Smith is the first lady of Kentucky basketball, Ashley's certainly the first fan. This is your first madness. How could that be?
I cannot give any worthwhile account of my whereabouts the 15th of October, 86 to 90, but I never came while I was a student here.
But here you are. Good to have you.
Here I am. I had to make the last one at Memorial Coliseum. It was important to me.
Now, you are healthy. You were playing hurt for a while there with the bad ankle, the bad wheel. Everything good?
Everything's fine. My foot recovered beautifully. I highly recommend Lymphomyosat, Wobazyme, and some other great arnica, as well as yoga.
Very good. Now,
it hasn't helped me with my bronchitis, but it helped my foot.
What do you think of the young guys? What do you think of this team?
Oh boy, they're quick. They're quick. It's very exciting. You can see that when the freshmen came in our little blue-white scrimmage here, got a little more athletic, up the ante. Oh, yeah. It's very, very exciting.
We're about to get started again, but quickly. A choice, your husband in victory lane at Indy or an NCAA championship?
You are a diabolical individual.
Ponder that. Next time we speak, you'll have an answer.
Between you and me, I go for the team.
I know. Thank you. Good to see you, Ashley. Rob?
Thank you, Dick. When Ashley was introduced to the crowd here earlier tonight, she said she'd just finished a movie, I believe, called The Lovely. Also had been overseas quite a bit and had been in places like Cambodia and Vietnam and had been over in Europe. Good to see her back here in Kentucky, back at her home state tonight.
Did we flip coins, draw stars? What did we do that Dick got to do the freaking interview there? I didn't know we were part of that. She is a Big Blue fan, though, isn't she?
Isn't she, though? Well, Wukosh getting up to get the tip, and Randolph Morris saving it, and right there to scoop it up was, guess who, Ramel Bradley.
And you know, not only that, she knows her basketball because she's right. When the freshmen came in, the athleticism picked up a notch, the quickness picked up a notch, and the competitiveness picked up a notch.
Orbzut, Azubuike, and Bradley with a rebound. When he was in high school in New York, he went to Park West High School in Manhattan. He's played against some top-notch competition. Getting the layup down to the other end is Ravi Moss.
You know, we talked about Ravi when he was a freshman, that how athletic he is and that he was going to surprise some people. And I think he showed people last year that he can play at this level. I watched him this summer, and he just continues to improve. He's going to be a contributor on this basketball team. Now, will Shigari, will the big fella be a contributor? There you saw his hands, which are one of his weaknesses, is he doesn't have great quickness, and he doesn't have great hands yet.
He's got to improve his strength. He says he's done that to an extent. Got him work on his shot blocking skills as well. He could be at the defensive end, Martin. He could be a force there in the middle.
Be unbelievable. I mean, it would allow you to do things defensively to stretch the other team where you could press more if you knew that you could count on him to be back there like a Patrick Ewing in the old Georgetown days that could block shots.
Aline is 7'3", 271 pounds, and with an 8-foot 1-inch wingspan. Aline guarding Orbswood, and he got a block there.
Attaboy, Shigar. He's on cue.
Here's Sparks into the front court. Behind the back pass, Ramel Bradley dishing it into the lane. Randolph Morris couldn't connect, and here's Bobby Perry with a rebound.
Look at Ramel, though. He's one of those guys, he's everywhere, and he drives you crazy on the offensive end, the defensive end of the floor.
Three-pointer won't go down, and apparently it hit the baseline. It'll be white ball. Ramel Bradley can play the point, or he can play the two guard, as we see Joe Crawford now check back in for the white squad.
You know, these young guys, too, they're so mature by the time they get here now that, you know, this term true freshman, I don't think exists anymore. They play so many games in the summer. They play in such high competition levels.
Putting it in underneath Rajon Rondo.
It takes most shooters a while to get accustomed to the college game. It's the one thing that takes a little bit longer. Their defense will improve, but their shooting, it takes just a little bit longer because they're not normally getting shots off as quick as they have to get them off at this level.
And we've got some more subs coming in right now as Preston LeMaster checks back in. And here comes the walk-on Eric Allen out of the state of Alabama. I believe he has on number 11. Randolph Morris. Boy. Can't argue with that, can you?
No, I mean, what do you say? I mean, what a luxury that Tubby Smith has that he did not have last year.
Bobby Perry on the drive, wouldn't go down. Orbswood missed it back off the glass. Bobby Perry in there fighting for the rebound and back up. Ramel Bradley down the lane. Pulled out by Ravi Moss, who races it into the front court, giving off to Rondo. Orbswood takes the pass from Perry, goes inside, wouldn't go down. The follow slam missed there by Rondo, and here comes the blue team.
Nice little pump fake, though, a little putting on the floor by Big Woo. He's getting better.
And they call a foul there on no foul. Chuck Hayes down the baseline and putting it off the glass nicely.
You know who's going to benefit the most from this freshman group is Chuck Hayes. I thought last year he had to do so much because we were undersized. And I think Chuck, you know, the other teams were really able to double team him and kind of take him out of the flow offensively. I think he's going to really flourish offensively, having Randolph Morris, having Wu get better, having the likes of a Patrick Spark, a Rajon, a Joe Crawford, Kalina stepping up offensively. I just think his game offensively is going to be much better this year.
Ramel Bradley letting it fly from outside, a three-pointer. And I think we can say so far from what we have seen here tonight as Preston LeMaster steals it away and goes in with a jumper and misses. I think we can say from what we've seen so far that this array of young talent has lived up to its billing.
It has definitely. It's like Tubby said earlier, though. You know, he says you can't get too excited. He said, I've seen a lot of guys make a lot of shots in this thing, but I think he's excited, and I think all Kentucky fans should be, because I'm going to tell you something. These guys know how to play the game, and I think when it's all said and done, at the end of this year, this is a team that could very easily be in St. Louis. They're kind of under the radar right now. Nobody's really got them in their top 10. But I think it's a team, when it's all said and done, can be in St. Louis.
It's a little different this season, Martin, in the fact that the early schedule just is not as vigorous as it has been.
which has got to be good from a standpoint of getting your freshmen some confidence, getting them in the games, getting them into the flow, getting them used to college basketball. And then you throw in the likes of the game at North Carolina or the game with Kansas here or Louisville and Indiana, and then the tough SEC, which is going to be another tough year in the SEC. And I think this team has the ability to peak at the right time this year, where in the past, you know, maybe they got, because of the early schedule, they got a little tired late in the season.
Let's go to Dick Gabriel right now, who's with Kenny Walker. Dick?
Former NBA slam dunk champion, one of our judges tonight. What do you think of the hops of these young guys?
Man, I was very impressed. I mean, Rondo, Crawford, got a lot of springs in the leg. It reminded me back in 1982 when I used to do stuff like that.
I remember the first Midnight Madness was your coming out party here.
Well, I'll tell you, 1982 was the very first year, and the fans are still coming out supporting this event. And I remember it like it was yesterday. I mean, the crowd was loud, and I had a great time out there doing my dunks, and it's a joy to see these guys out here doing the same thing.
Now, speaking of freshmen, Richie Farmer's here, and he had an interesting, you made a good point. These guys are ready for prime time.
Well, Kenny and I were talking about it, and, you know, back when we played, when you came in as a freshman, you know, usually it took you a couple years in the weight room to get to where you need to be, but these guys look like they've stepped out of Muscle Magazine. You know, I mean, they're cut up and ready to go, so we're excited about it.
Good things this year, I guess you believe, true?
Oh, I think definitely. You know, we've seen some, we know we've got some good guys coming back. I think Patrick Sparks will add a little creativity and, you know, distribute the basketball.
You don't mind seeing a Kentucky kid at the point?
Oh, I don't mind that at all. I think that's nice. Adds a nice touch, but you know, we've got you know, and as we talked about the young kids, the talent, and we're just really excited. You know, I'm a fan at heart, and I always look forward to. You know, we always, when we fill out our brackets for at the end of the year for the NCAA tournament, we always think Kentucky should be rated #1 preseason, and we always got them winning the national tournament. So, you know, we'll see.
Thanks, fellas. Kenny, we'll see you on the radio.
All right, thank you, buddy.
All right, Rob.
Thank you, Dick. A couple of familiar faces and a couple of guys who certainly wrote their names into the great tradition of Wildcat basketball. Kenny Walker and Richie Farmer.
That's what makes this program so great, Rob, is those guys, number one, they stay a part of the program. They come back. You know, I look behind the bench there, and there was like 12, 15 former Wildcat players that have come back, and there's not many programs that have that.
Well, you mentioned it briefly just a moment ago, but the return this season, Martin, of the Kansas Jayhawks to the Wildcat schedule.
Yeah, and
Kansas and Roy Williams.
Yeah, and in a lot of polls, they're ranked #1 in the country, and they've got a lot of players coming back. They're different from Kentucky in that they're going to be very experienced. And they're a very good basketball team. And there you see Ramel Bradley with an excellent no-look one-hand pass. Freshman to freshman.
Hitting a wide open Randolph Morris, who took it right to the basket.
The game that I've got marked is the North Carolina game in Chapel Hill, because North Carolina is talent-wise probably better than anybody in the country. And they want a little revenge.
The Cats have been kind of tough on them.
They have been tough
here over the last, 3 years. Patrick Sparks outside, Ramel Bradley down the lane. Tried to dish it back out to Sparks. Somehow he saved it in, but it went right to Orbson. Ravi Moss. And Joe Crawford couldn't quite connect on the lob. Here's Ramel Bradley, who lost control going in and just dishes it off there to Randolph Morris. Well, I think without question, Martin, it is shaping up to be an exciting year. A year where we're going to see a lot of Wildcat wins as you see Rajon Rondo go in. I think it's shaping up to be a fun year.
What'd you say? It's shaping up to be an exciting year, and then you see Rajon. Oh, my goodness. I think you're right, Rob. I think it's going to be one of those years that is really going to be special. You know, this team is as good. They can be as good as they want to be. Now, there's a lot of factors that go into this. Do they listen to Tubby? Do they buy into his defensive philosophy? You know, there's a lot of things that have to take place, but they have all the ingredients to be very, very special and to come back here and put a banner on this wall.
Now Ramel Bradley getting the kick off the front of the rim and then off the back and falling down through for a three-pointer. And the clock runs out on this blue-white scrimmage here on the evening of Big Blue Madness. We've got more to come. We'll be back to wrap things up in just a moment, so stay with us. The Wildcats have just wrapped it up here at Memorial Coliseum. Another edition of Big Blue Madness. It all started here back in 1982. This was number 23 here tonight, and as Ashley Judd announced early on in this evening, it would be the last in this very historic building. We look forward to a move next year for the 30th anniversary of Rupp Arena, but it's been a lot of fun tonight, Martin.
It really has been, and I think if nothing else, it's been a treat for the fans. You've gotten to see some athleticism and that we haven't seen here in a while in this freshman class. We've got a lot to look forward to this season, and I know we're going to have some fun. We've got, 12 games that we're doing or 9 games that we're doing, and some other wonderful games that the Cats have. We're going to have a good time this year.
Martin, I'm looking forward to it. Let's send it now to Dick Gabriel to wrap things up. Dick?
All right, Rob, thanks very much. It's been a successful evening. I think everybody agrees that this freshman class is going to be fun to watch. Probably the most highly anticipated freshman class since Sam Bowie and his teammates got here. Join us tomorrow night. UK football, Kentucky, South Carolina. Check your local listings, 11:35 Eastern here in Lexington. For Rob and Martin, Dick Gabriel, so long, everybody.
Tonight's Big Blue Madness has been presented by Harley-Davidson. Big Blue Madness has also been brought to you by the Whitaker Bank Corporation. Discover the Whitaker difference. By Pepsi. By your local Ford dealer. Quality people, quality products. By Papa John's Pizza. Better ingredients, better pizza. And by Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance. Big on commitment.
Your Central Kentucky Jeep dealers. Lexington Mortgage Company, financing your dream home. GMC Trucks. B-Dry, America's leading waterproofer. Your Central Kentucky Chrysler dealers. Golden Corral, everyone deserves a good meal.